Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first session of the AI show. So, my name is Elise Steinbenoon. My role is developers and startup go-to-market in Middle East and CIMA, CE, and Middle East and Africa headquarter at Microsoft. And with me, Moria.
Hi everyone, my name is Moria. I'm the Reactor PM, also in Microsoft, working closely with Adi, and we are both based in Israel. Together with us today, we have Jordan. She's also part of the Reactor team. She's managing the events and the community at Microsoft Reactor.
So, you joined us today for the first session out of a 16-hour series that we're going to discuss and talk about the hottest topic right now, right? It's OpenAI, ChatGPT, and developers' productivity. In today's session, we're going to speak about Azure OpenAI and cognitive search. And every Tuesday in the upcoming 1 month or so, you're going to join us in this community kind of activity where we're going to speak with the top experts in our area to learn about real use case and case studies of implementation of OpenAI in their product. Also hearing about Microsoft expert that will tell you and will open up case studies and will share more information about OpenAI. And also we bring up our Microsoft valuable professionals, which are MVPs, to bring their communities and to share their knowledge. So today we're going to speak about Azure OpenAI and cognitive search. Next week we're going to speak about GitHub Copilot and some other productivity tools for developers. Next we're going to move to models fine tuning. After that, we're going to dive into gaming. We took one industry and we're going to look and understand how OpenAI can be a game changer in this industry. We'll move on to speaking about how can we leverage AI in low code, no code, and power apps. And for the last session, we're going to speak about cognitive services and AI. And this is just the beginning. We are here. We want to hear from you. What is interest you? What would you like us to discuss and present and talk about? So feel free also to share and write on the chat where are you from. And also during the session, feel free to ask questions. We got the expert to answer those questions, and we always looking to hear about recommendation of what you would like us to speak about. Moving to you, Moria.
Thank you, Adi. So as Adi mentioned, this series is going to be a 6-part series, and I'm going to talk to you about the Reactor a bit. So the Reactor, this series is hosted by the Reactor in partnership with different groups in Microsoft. For those of you who are new to Microsoft Reactors, so Microsoft Reactors are technical hubs for developers. We are based around the world in 12 locations, but we actually offer programming online, so you can join from wherever you are worldwide, not just physically in our locations. We have online events, hybrid events, and in person on different tech topics. So really kind of like the latest trends of technology, focusing also on topics such as DevOps, AI, GitHub, data, Power BI, and more. So I think at this schedule, and we're gonna share the links also in the chat. But if you wanna visit the Reactor website and check our upcoming events, we're gonna put the link in the chat. You could also scan the QR code. Yeah, thank you. So here's the QR code for the website. You can also scan this QR code and reach our website to check our upcoming events and also this series coming events. One of the main platform we are using in our sessions is Microsoft Learn. For those of you who are not familiar with Microsoft Learn, so it's a great platform. It's free. Learning platform that Microsoft offers with over 4,000 learning modules and learning certificates, courses. It's all for free. You can actually access it from home and study on your own pace, where whatever interests you, whatever topics or roles you are interested in. You can visit Microsoft Learn. We also offer the programming in different languages. You can scan the QR code now and get your certificate. You can share your certificate later on LinkedIn. So it's really a great way for you to learn and do it all from free and at your own comfort time. So before we just move to today's session and the agenda, I just wanted you to take a second to read our code of conduct. We're also going to post it in the session. So please be mindful for others and be patient, even though this is a virtual event still in the chat. We really appreciate you to follow our Microsoft Reactor code of conduct.
Before we're going to jump into our fascinating session today, I want all of you to be aware of our Microsoft Build event that's coming up later this month on May 23rd to 25th. In this event, you're going to have hundreds of sessions discussing and sharing the latest announcement of the dev industry from Microsoft point of view and our products. We also gonna have interactive sessions there. We have fabulous, as you can see, speakers speaking about the cutting edge technologies. So you definitely don't want to miss that as well. And now we're gonna start our today's session. We have three speakers that gonna share two sessions. The first one is gonna be Vladi and Denise that will speak about GPT and enterprise data. And then we'll move to a real case study on how integrating AI, OpenAI or Azure OpenAI into a product. And Oshri, the CTO and co-founder of Atera, will discuss about how to combine the power of AI with workflow automation to dominate AI. After that, we will open it up the stage for you to ask many questions as you want and to get the answers from our speakers. Okay, so I'm passing the mic to you, Vladi and Denise.
Something is wrong with the...
We have some technical issues. It's kind of not responsive, the screen. You cannot click on present.
Just a second.
One sec.
Can you mute us, Adi, for a second?
Yes, we can. We just wait for you to share your screen. I just want to take maybe advantage of the time and mention that in the chat box that I see you're all started to write where you're from, which is great. Feel free to also, during the session and after the speakers, we will have time for Q&A. So feel free to post your questions there. Also wanted to mention that this session is actually recorded. It will be available for you later after today at the Reactor YouTube channel. So I'm going to share the link later for the Reactor YouTube channel where you can also access the recording and listen to it later on. I'm checking, Vladi, would you like to send your PowerPoint maybe perhaps to Adi or myself and we can share it from our end?
Meanwhile, hello to many of you coming from different countries. So we have visitors from Oregon, amazing, for Portland, from Kenya, Dubai, Nairobi, South Africa, Johannesburg. Really great to see all of you joining us today. So I see a question about the duration of this session. It's going to be 1 hour, 50 minutes to 1 hour of session, and then it will be open up for Q&A. Hi there from Slovakia, Nigeria.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, with an echo. So apparently OpenAI did not fix that thing yet. Let's see. So let's see if Oshri, maybe is it possible that you will start first until we will figure out.
Yeah, perhaps we can change the just the agenda, so you will go first, and then we will work on the technical issues that Vladi and Denise are currently facing. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So Oshri, over to you.
Thanks, Adi and Yarden. So let's start. Just before we do that, I'll explain a little bit about what we are doing, what is the Terra platform, and few words about us, so everybody in this meeting will have some context, because I'm going then to deep dive into a live demo, show how we implemented Microsoft OpenAI and how we leverage the technology to gain amazing results. So let's start. First, I'll introduce Atera's platform. Atera's platform is actually all-in-one cloud platform to manage IT operations. We support Windows, Linux, Mac. It's everything built on Microsoft Azure infrastructure. And we provide to our customers remote monitoring and management tool, help desk and ticketing, network monitoring, BI and analytics, and we have App Center. So actually everything IT professionals, corporate enterprises, and MSPs need to run their ITs, whether they're running it on local network, in a corporate network, or managing customers remotely. We currently have over 11,000 customers around the globe, serving 105 countries, 3.5 million devices across the world. And actually users are doing over 300 million automations using our system. It means that they took IT operations that usually they will do manually, like fixing problems, patching, doing some manual tasks to fix a problem or maintaining networks, and they are doing it automatically using our system today. And this number is growing from month to month. And we trusted by over 11,000 customers. As I mentioned, we have big names like McDonald's, HP, NBC Universal, etc. So we have an amazing and mature system. So feel free, everyone, if you have IT operation, to give it a try. We have a 30 days trial, free trial. So as I mentioned, we have the remote monitoring part, and this is actually very important to understand the entire system for the demo that I will show you. I will run quickly, but by the end of this presentation, if you have questions, feel free to ask. So we have predictive alerts, auto-healing mechanisms, means if you have some problems, you can attach to it some action to fix problems automatically once they occur. For instance, if you have a high CPU from a specific process, you can create a script to restart it or something like that. We have powerful automation and patching. It means that IT technicians, IT professionals using our system to patch systems and keeping them up to date and secure. Besides that, we are managing also the communication between the technicians and their customers, and you'll see it in the demo in a few seconds. We have a ticketing system with SLAs, automation and tagging, and we also provide customer portal that the customer can open tickets. Actually, they can even click one button in the computer. It will take a screenshot and open a ticket for them. Besides that, we have security tools and network scans. I will run quickly because I want to get to the point. and we offer over our platform App Center, which IT professionals can expand the services that they are giving using security tools, backup, network scan, etc. And we have, of course, mobile with notification about alerts, about ticketing, and even doing remote support through the mobile app. So what actually keeps IT managers up at night? Also very important for the context of the demo. They are managing and evolving security threats, so every day they need to keep their customers secured. Besides that, they are driving the operational efficiencies, and these days with OpenAI capabilities, we see that the whole industry going to much more efficient future, and this one is very important. When you manage IT, you want everything to work smoothly and to be able to produce more. So this is actually one of the major things that we try to achieve using OpenAI. And of course, delivering on-time quality service and reducing the technology debt. So I think we can deep dive into the demo, and I'll switch from the presentation to my computer, although I have it also in the video, but just a sec. Great. So let me know that you're seeing my screen. Okay, you see it. Cool. So I'll start with the first thing that this is something that we are currently working on, but I think for this flow, it's very important that I'll show you first. It's called AI Assistant. This is actually the customer portal. When a end user have some issue, you can just create new ticket, open a ticket, and then you communicate with the technician. I'll show you in a sec how it look like. I have in here OneDrive sync issue. I used to have it, and I'll talk to a technician. I have all the conversation here. We added lately the AI assistant area, this one. So basically now, instead of immediately opening a ticket for the technician, I can just talk to an AI assistant, a chatbot, and tell him exactly what is the problem that I'm experiencing right now, and get a response. So let's say I can't connect to my Outlook or something like that. I can connect to my email. And usually users write something that is very vague, and the technician need to answer and ask some more questions. So the AI is actually can also give you more elaborative ticket. It will also ask the right questions, and of course it will also try to solve the problem. And usually a lot of from the cases we saw, it solves the problem and close the ticket. But even if it doesn't close the ticket, the technician will get it with much more information inside the ticket. So let's continue talking to the AI here. I'm sorry to hear. Of course, it's very polite. You're receiving any error message? Yes, something about the password. And it will continue talking to me. You're receiving error message about password. Double click. Try to correct the password, and if not, try to reset it. And I'm getting all the information that I need. And of course, everything is logged into a ticket. So I see here above, email connectivity issue. The assistant also gives this ticket automatic title. And if it's closed my problem and it was helpful, I can close the ticket. And by that, we actually close a ticket without any technician intervention. We call it the autopilot part of our system. And this one is actually quite amazing, as I said. It reduced a lot of the IT problems and reduced a lot of the tickets that are opening to the technician. But also, if it's not closing the ticket completely, the technician will get much more elaborative ticket with a lot of information, and it will be much easier to solve. Let's move to the second part. I'll switch to the technician part in our console. This is the technician part. Here you can see all the tickets that coming from various users in the system. And if you notice, when I'm going over the tickets I have the AI in here, and I clicked on the security concern. One of my one of my customers is concerned about leaving their computer open. And they said that they left the computer at the office, and usually they are doing it. They leave the computer open in the office and they went back home. And he's concerned that someone that will see it open, try to access it or do something. So we created this button AI assistant. You'll get a summary of the problem. Of course, it can be a lot of back and forth between technicians, or maybe even the AI assistant to the customer. But as a technician or a manager, I can see the AI summary that it generated. We can also generate it with bulleted list or executive report like that. And once I have a summary of the problem, I can generate a reply to answer the customer. But I can also generate a solution. What is the solution for someone that left his computer open after working hours? He suggested to schedule a computer to lock at a specific time every night. Amazing, that's a good solution, and I really liked it. Now, because we are also ticketing system and the remote monitoring, we are actually connected to the devices, and we have an amazing system that manages all the networks and the hardware in the network. We can take it to the next step and just click generate a script out of this suggestion. Okay, and it suggests a solution. The solution was to lock out the computer every night. He also selected a time for me, 10 p.m. I can change that if I want, but I have a code that locks the computer every day and created a task scheduler item. And from here, with one click, I can just save it, call it logout, and create the script. Now it's in my repository, and when I go to the computer or even go back to the ticket, I go to managing this device in the network, run script, look for the logout, the lock and logout here. I can just click run, and it will log off the computer. So it will actually create the scheduler to lock the computer every night. That's easy. I'll stop sharing my screen for a sec. Oh. Great. So actually, as I mentioned, we have two amazing tools that we created using OpenAI. One of them is the autopilot, the first tier support. We actually, before the customer open a ticket and the technician need to answer, we try to give them first tier support, maybe close the ticket, and if not, get much more elaborative ticket. And the second part is the co-pilot part of the system. We are using OpenAI to summarize the ticket, to suggest reply, to suggest a solution, and out of this solution, generate script. And using the RMM technology that we developed, run the script, solve the problems, we can attach it to every time that the same ticket or the same problem occur again, it will automatically run. And I won't need even to do this one small action like clicking this button. So this one is quite amazing. And we talked about efficiency, and look how efficient it can be. You just need to imagine, you just need to take those tools and do amazing stuff. Yeah. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free.
Audrey, we do have one question. I'm going to share it here on the screen. Can you please share how you created this tool and architectures of it?
How we created which tool, which one, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to show code because we did use Microsoft OpenAI for the summarizing and to other stuff, but we did a lot of extra work to make it, amazing as I show it to you, and I'm not sure that we'll be able to share any code in live here.
Ask what data set you use to train the model.
We actually didn't use our data to train the model. We used OpenAI as is. I think the beauty about OpenAI is that they train the models, their default models, with the entire internet. What can us as a small company compared to the entire internet can give this model to fix IT problems? Because every IT person that you have any kind of issue, he goes to the internet, asks the question, and get the answer. But the model is built exactly on that. So we didn't feel that we even need to train it on our data. We'll probably do train it on data to achieve different things, like personalizing the reply. Just the model will be much more. His answers will much look like the answer from the technician if we'll train it on the technician kind of the tone of voice of the technician, but not on the IT problems, because the internet has much more information about problems than we do.
We do have another questions. I can share it on the screen as well. What do you share with ChatGPT, and how do you keep the client data secure and private from further ChatGPT searches?
So first of all, I think that it's a good question, and I think that's the most common one when we show customers the amazing solutions that we provide using OpenAI. And I think this is going to be part of probably Microsoft presentation here, but that's exactly why we chose Microsoft OpenAI and not going with OpenAI, the company, because Microsoft provide a secure private cloud with some snapshot of the model. They are not using our data or everything we send to train the model or such things. So there is a big difference, and most of the users and most of the customers that we are talking not aware of this difference between Microsoft and OpenAI. But in any case, we are not sending all the data. Well, when we click on summarize a ticket, we send exactly what you see in the screen, and that's it. But anyway, it's not going to OpenAI, and the models are not trained on this data. And using Microsoft just closes privacy issues for us.
Thank you, Ashri. There is an additional comment for the previous questions about if you can share how you created this tool and architecture. So he didn't mean the code, but he actually just meant the approach and the architecture of the approach.
So I think a lot of the solutions, and now we are working on also implementing a few more innovative stuff using OpenAI. I think prompt engineering is one of the most important things to know, and this is absolutely one big part of the architecture of the solutions that we are doing. You need to leverage the data that you have in your system, like we have the tickets, we have the capabilities to run scripts, etc., and just create the right prompt and ask OpenAI to generate something for you based on that. This is how we construct our solutions. For instance, for the ticket summary, we took the conversation, we just design it in a user assistant kind of comments layout, and we send it to the model and ask, what do you think would be the next thing to suggest, or summarize this for us. And it's quite easy, just like that.
Thank you. We have a few more questions. Some can share them here on the screen to make it easier. So does this imply that the AI solutions are generic and not particular to an IT firm or field?
So in general, in OpenAI, yes, you can apply any AI solution that you need. For us, we did construct the prompt to act as an IT technician. So it's expect IT questions, and it's expect to give you IT-like answers.
Okay, we have another question. How did you manage to keep from wrong answers by ChatGPT?
So we actually did implemented some feedback system. We cannot really, be 100% sure that it won't give the right answers, but we did saw that the feedback are quite amazing. Most of the users, I think 90% of the replies are positive, which is amazing. We expected much less. And those that are giving us a bad score, we talk to them, we see what went wrong, and those are edge cases like any other models. We expected that. We actually expected much more bad answers, and the results are amazing.
Thank you. Two additional questions. One is which GPT version are you using?
So we are using both 4 and 3.5 turbo, and we found that in some cases the 3.5 give us much better and faster results, and in some cases we must have 4 because we have very large contact and we need the capabilities, but we are using both, and it's a dynamic decision.
Okay, one last question. What are the types of issues you had when working with the AI? What was your approach to resolving them?
So I think I mentioned the prompt engineering. It's not some buzzword. It's really, really important. When you ask AI a question, one dot in the end can change the answer completely. So working on the prompt, making sure that you are sending the right question, forming it in the way, giving a lot of information to the AI to understand exactly what we want to achieve. As I mentioned, we send him that we are IT technician that gives services to customers, and we expect a polite answer and not so technical because my customer is not technical. We implement everything I said now in the prompt, and I think this part is the most complicated one, to get to the one that work in some in a lot of cases. It's not an easy one, but when you start with it and you get the feeling and you get to it, it's going very well by the end.
One more question: how you're planning to upgrade this to ChatGPT 4? What is the cost involved with the implementation?
So as I mentioned, we use ChatGPT 4 right now, and the cost is quite surprising. We expected also here. We didn't know how many tokens we will use, and we are sending a lot of conversation words into it. But the cost is really affordable for the amazing results that you get. It's a non-issue right now for us. And of course, by the end of the day, we'll probably model that, in our product. And if we, find the right business model, we just launch it as a beta for our customers. While getting a feedback, getting to work and do everything we expect. But by the end of the day, we'll find a business model and, make sure it works for everyone, for us, for the customers.
One more question. Do you use the answers feedback to fine-tune the model snapshot?
Right now, we are not doing it at all.
Okay. And then I think we have one more question. GPT works in a lot of languages. Does your platform as well, or is it just English?
Our platform is also translated to a lot of languages, and yes, GPT works amazing in many different languages.
I think we don't have any more questions, so we will. I want to take a second to thank you, Oshri, for the time and for your presentation and the time to answer the questions. If you still have questions about this session, please feel free to post them. Oshri, if you can, I can help you post the answers in the chat, so we can still answer your questions in the chat. And we're at time for our next session. So thank you, Oshri, for your time. And now we will move to Vladi and Denise for the next session. So I think we managed to resolve the technical issues. So now we are now going to the first session. So we see you now, Vladi and Denise. We can also see your screen.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Fine.
Hi, thank
Hi,
you
guys.
very much. And we have overcome our technical problems. We are here to present how you can use GPT with your enterprise data to extract valuable insights while maintaining privacy with your own company's data. I am Denise Schlesinger. I am a cloud solution architect for Microsoft.
And I'm Vlad Fagin. I am solution architect at Microsoft, and my specialty is data and AI.
As you probably heard from many sources, Microsoft have partnered with OpenAI, and there are many models available. We are now going to be using GPT 3.5 for our demo. The reason that you will need to use enterprise data with GPT can be that you want to use your own database or documents in your organization and use GPT as a semantic index and not as a knowledge base. Because as you all know, GPT was trained with data until 2021. So you either will like to have more actual data, more current data, or you will also like to use your own enterprise data and not the data that is inside the model. Another reason you can have is that you want to create a chatbot that will use all the same enterprise data and personal information that you have in your company. And then you will need also to protect your privacy for your data, and you want to use your own data. We're going to be using a paradigm in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's called retrieval augmented generation. And this paradigm speaks about doing retrieval and generation are two steps. The first one is to retrieve documents and information, in our case, from our own repository. and then use the GPT to generate the answer based on this information. So we are going to be presenting you 2 scenarios. In this scenario, you can imagine that we are a company, that we have a very advanced system for the human resources department. We have an application which is on the left-hand side where candidates can upload the CVs and the resumes into a central repository inside our company using a web application. And for the first scenario, we will use these files that are uploaded by candidates to extract entities from the CVs using OpenAI. We will instruct OpenAI to do a paradigm in NLP that it's called named entity recognition. We will instruct it on how we want it to extract the data. And then we are going to be using the response in a typical scenario to just store the data that will be returned in JSON format. We can save it in, for example, Cosmos DB or in any document-based database. That will be the first scenario, and then it can be available for any of the HR representatives in the company to search using this data that is being turned from unstructured data, which is the document, into structured data, which is the JSON. And in the same scenario, we'll be also demonstrating how to use an open source library called Presidio, developed by Microsoft as well, that does PII anonymization. For those that are not maybe familiar with the PII, PII is an acronym that stands for Personal Identifiable Information. There are many compliances and regulations that do not allow to expose personal identifiable information for your customers. So we are going to be using this same library to get the response that we got from GPT and to store it in a data lake anonymized. This can be used in your company to expose this data for data scientists or any other public repository that we want to use maybe for learning or other solutions.
Okay. And now let's talk about the second scenario. So in the second scenario, we take the same CVs and we index it inside of Cognitive Search. Cognitive Search is a Azure service which allows to search a lot of documents. And one of the nice features Cognitive Search provides is semantic search. Semantic search is a smart search. It's not like a plain keyword search, but it's taking into consideration the semantic, the context of the question. So the idea is to use it in order to retrieve most relevant document for a query, and then we take the top relevant documents and we create a prompt which consists the text from those documents, retrieved documents, including the question. So the idea is, and this is something we send to GPT. The idea is that since the GPT model is not trained for this data, this is internal data, and this is the point of this session. And so the model doesn't familiar with this information. So in order to resolve this issue, one of the ways to construct the prompt, we will show you example with the relevant text and instruct in the prompt the GPT and tell them that this is the text, this is the context you are going to use in order to answer questions. Okay, if you don't know, just say you don't know. But and you continue this way. You ask HR person asks next question, and again we run a search and we take the top relevant documents. We construct a prompt, and again we send this to the GPT, and this kind of conversation happening in first in the search, and the second we are going to OpenAI. We are going to show you the examples, and maybe if you have time, I mean, can you show the code, some snippets of code, but this is the idea.
Okay, so for the first demo, it's a CV summarization. As I said before, you're gonna get these CVs that are being uploaded are going to be extracting data from that. We will first read the document, then convert the documents are in PDF format. Of course, that's our sample application. It can be done in any format that you like. And then we convert it into TXT. Then we are sending this TXT to GPT with a prompt where we say, we will show the prompt in a minute, where we say GPT, extract the named entities from this text and please output the JSON in the following format. Then we get the JSON as a response with all the data extracted from the CV. And then we anonymize it using the library. And in a possible scenario, you can save that into a database or in the data lake. So here we have the way the scenario works. Let's start from the left side. In the left side, you see the prompt that we are sending GPT. It's good to say when you're asking GPT to give it a persona, and explain what the type of behavior do you expect from it. So we say you are an assistant designed to extract entities from text. Users will enter a text and you will respond with entities you have extracted as a JSON object. And I'm sending the JSON empty, but the JSON structure, which is the exact response that I'm asking for. In the middle, we have an example of a PDF for a CV for Nick Gellner, and we see that's the name. And we see also he has worked recently in Foundry AI. Actually, he's working there yet. And then on the right-hand side, you have the response example, where we see GPT have extracted the JSON in the format that we have extracted it. It had identified that's the person name. And if there was an email or a phone or an address, it can identify that as well. And we see in the bottom, that he has identified that there's a work experience in the company, the position, and the start date. What we did only is just to give it the JSON format we want to extract it. GPT has identified everything on this document. Now we can go to the demo. Let us present. Stop screen. Stop screen. Stop sharing. Yeah. Present. No. Share screen. Window. Dejando. No. איפה זה? תחזור לפה. Do you see our screen? No, לא מציג.
No.
No.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So here we have a CV from Jordan Zhu. We see that's the work experience. He has his work in Stripe. He's a solution architect. Then we will use our demo, and we will instruct the demo to process now. Of course, this can be done offline, right? We are just showing how it can be done. Now it's calling OpenAI behind the scenes, and it's processing and you can see in the left-hand side, the JSON that says, this is Jordan Zhu, this is the LinkedIn profile, it's working in Stripe from June 21 to November 22, and it's the solution architect. And in the right-hand side, you see that the LinkedIn profile has been deleted and the person name has been anonymized. This is done by this library that it's called Presidio. If we go now, let's take another example. This is CV number 2 for Nick Gerner, and we see this data. We can now ask GPT to process the second CV. Okay, and we have a lot of examples. We are not going to be showing all of them, just to show you that you can enter any type of data. That's what we have done. And then after some seconds, you see you have the data for Nick Gerner. Here, there's no LinkedIn profile, and it's just, it has anonymized as well, the same information. That's it. This is the first demo. Estas son las líneas. Stop screen. Stop screen. Okay, present. Share screen. Window.
¿No?
La presentación. We had some technical problems because we are presenting from only one screen, and we had problems by sharing both of them together, so we really apologize. Go ahead, Vlad.
So now we're going to cover the next use case. As I mentioned before, we use here actually two services. The first one is cognitive search, Azure Cognitive Search. We ingest into it those CVs, the same data you just saw in the first scenario, and we index it. We create a search index, and this is allow us to run search, because OpenAI is not a search engine. Yes, it's important to emphasize, and so we should send OpenAI only relevant text for a variety of reasons, for limits, and for to be more cost efficient, so on. So we run this. HR person ask a question. We take this question and we run it in a cognitive search. We get relevant documents and take most relevant documents, and we construct a prompt for GPT. Okay, I will show you in a second the prompt, and this is something we send to GPT, and GPT of course answer the questions. And this is kind of a cycle, and this is the way the HR person managing conversation with GPT. So as I mentioned before, in the left side you have a bunch of documents, enterprise documents. It can be any kind of documents, of course, not necessarily CVs, something, any type of internal data. And in the middle, you have example of prompt we built before we sent it to GPT. So in the prompt, we tell to GPT that this is the context. You answer only with the facts listed in the list. If you don't know, just say you don't know. And in the bottom of prompt, you see the sources placeholder in the yellow color. So this part we replace with the text we received from the search, from cognitive search, and all this together we send to the GPT, and this way the conversation is happening. Okay. So now I'm going to show you a demo.
Stop sharing. Stop sharing. Guys, present. Open. Share screen. Window. Meta browser. Chame Foja Civic.
You see the screen? So this is the UI we created for this demo, and now you can you can just ask questions in natural language. So now the first step is going to the search return the relevant documents, and we construct the prompt I just showed you, and now we get the answer. Okay, now let's ask another question. So now this is something nice. You can see that I asked GPT if this candidate has experience with cloud. The cloud word doesn't appear in CVs, the specific CV from of this guy Jordan, but GPT make this conclusion that it's a cloud, and in this case it's AWS. It's the same. And so it's the answer is, I think it's pretty fascinating that it's kind of human intelligence and saying it's, that yes, he has experience with AWS. And so this is and I can ask next question if it's has experience with big data. And again, the big data is not something that part of that is that don't appear in the doesn't appear in the CV, but again, it's concludes that yes, because Jordan developed in his previous experience, has some application with handling the millions of records, and so it can be that it can be considered as a person having a big experience with big data. We can ask also a question like list all the candidates in the positions. No, in this case he refused to answer it.
Denise, we also have a suggestion in the chat if you're interested. Who is the oldest candidate? What is the highest level of education?
Yes, of course. You can any kind of question, anything is related to it. In this case, I am asking actually who is the candidate can be a manager, and but it's the answer is that there is no specific candidate who has this specific experience, but you can consider Jordan Zhu as a person that because he was in his past some team lead, and so this is that. So this is the. We can ask if you can drop some question. I can try to ask it if you would like.
Moria.
What?
Moria?
Yes, I don't see any other questions that posted.
Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question that was asked there?
The same one. Who is the oldest candidate? And then another one is, I can put it here so it's easier. What is the highest level of education?
Okay, we don't have the age, I think, in the CV, so it will be a problem.
What is the?
How many candidates do we have? Can we ask this one? Okay. We also have the questions if in the chat, can you handle understructured documents? Any limit on input type?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, I can also post it here. Can you handle unstructured documents?
Yes.
Limit or input type?
Yes, we can handle it. We can index specifically cognitive search support a variety of formats: PDF, free text, docs, whatever. It's able to. You can inject this type of information to cognitive search, but the point is that when you search and prepare the prompt for GPT, the answer the prompt must be textual. Yes, so this okay.
If you have any other questions, feel free to put them. Oh, we're seeing already a question I just spoke. We are developing a fintech app where We are generating data into our database every second. My question is how we can use ChatGPT to find real-time analysis on data that we are pushing every second.
Actually, what you need to understand is that you're using GPT. In our case, we're using GPT as a semantic index, let's say as a translator. It's translating natural language into some kind of a query. In this case, it's querying a quantity of data that we have in an index. But there are different libraries, for example, LangChain, which is an open source library. It has different toolkits where you can use, for example, SQL database toolkit, and it can translate natural language into SQL, for example. And there are different toolkits at the moment. So what you can do is you can connect GPT and translate your questions into SQL, and that's what this library does. So what you will do is you will get instructions to the LangChain library to access your database. And what will happen in real time, that the GPT will be translating the natural language questions into SQL commands that will be querying your database. This is not the demo we prepared, but there are many examples of that. If you can search online for LangChain with the SQL database toolkit, that's the answer for your question.
But also I think that there is some question regarding the scale, the kind of how to implement streaming into GPT. There is it's not exactly the streaming framework. Okay, you need to do some kind of batching and prepare batches maybe of text, and then and inject this every batch to GPT. But you remember that there is kind of limits on number of API calls also for GPT. I don't remember the exact number, but at some point, if on the high scale today, you're gonna be throttled. So there is it's not exactly fit this scenario today. Maybe in the next version, yes, but today it's more the best scenario is in the let's say lowest scale. It's not streams of you mentioned millions of records a second. I think it's not so good fit.
Great, thank you. We have a couple of more questions. Is that okay that we address them now, or?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the next question is, could you elaborate on the pipeline itself? I suspect PIE is in the form of a Python script.
Yeah. The first demo, what we did actually was it's not a pipeline in our case, it's just a Python script, but you can, of course, create an architecture that, for example, will take this web application that will be uploading every CV that it's being uploaded into the application into a blob storage account. And then you can create an Azure function, for example, that will be triggered by every document that is going to be uploaded there. That could be one architecture, for example. And this trigger will run a Python script or your language of choice. In our case, it was Python, to use, first of all, to call OpenAI to extract the entities, to save it as a JSON. In our case, we can save it maybe to Cosmos DB or any other NoSQL solution. And then we have run it, the Presidio library, which there are some other languages available. We use the Python version. And then we converted the JSON that we got, and we did something that it's called Presidio Analyzer and Presidio Anonymizer. That's the libraries that are going to be used to extract the PII. And you can instruct this library to extract PII like email or address or name. You can also tweak it for this library.
Thank you. A few more questions. Is the PIE sent to ChatGPT?
In our case, what we are sending ChatGPT, yes, we are sending the text extracted from the CV, which is, of course, contains PII, and then we are getting the JSON back. Okay.
Okay.
But you don't need, yes, if it's a question, but it's not necessary to send PI. You can say, you can anonymize also, yes, and send a prompt which is with anonymized PI. Okay, because it will not affect accuracy of model.
Okay, next question is, can you get the input direct from other Microsoft sources like 365 or Azure DevOps services?
This is something we have begun to think about. There is one of the ideas we are looking at now is to there is a variety of connector. One the dynamic 265, which allows to bring data from there to cognitive search, and from there you exactly the same flow as we show you. Yes, there is such possibility, of course. So there's something that constantly delivering the data from those sources to cognitive search, and from there again we run a search and take the relevant text, construct prompt, send to GPT. This is the flow. It's for sure it's can work.
Okay, thank you. The next question, is there a document or a GitHub repo with a similar solution?
We will be
Yes.
we will be exposing all these demos that we are talking about in our GitHub repo.
Yeah, we will.
So stay tuned.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will do some cleanup because it's a bit dirty code. We did it very quickly, and yeah, but for sure we will do.
Okay, great. And then you can apply. Okay, there was a comment. I think. Let's see. The next one is you mentioned before that the prompt is told to actually as a HR assistant and use only the search results for the answers.
Yeah.
Who performs the search for the results?
In the
So this is the search is done inside of cognitive search, Azure Cognitive Search. This is a separate service, Azure service. It's kind of which used internally. If you're familiar with Lucene Index, it's create a data structure which is very efficient for free text search. And in addition, it has what is called semantic search. Semantic search is smart search, which take into consideration the context of a question. So if you ask question about the good example is capital, word capital can have a bunch of senses. One of them is a financial sense. Another one is it's a capital of country or something like that. So the semantic search able to bring relevant documents from the index, from internal storage, and this is something we take and construct from those documents prompts along with the question, the current question, and we send it to GPT. Maybe worth to mention that we also in order to keep the context and to allow the GPT to remember the history of question, to be aware of context. We keep internal state, and we save in this state all the history of a question and answer, question and answer, and this is something also we send to ChatGPT and to search in order to retrieve not only document relevant to last question, but also document relevant to the previous question. And this is something you need to do if you want to keep this context during the conversation. I hope it's
Yes.
clear.
One thing that they asked about the GitHub repo, I guess it's not, do you have a current one or you will be publishing it? And if you will be publishing, would you be able to share it? And then I can maybe add it to the YouTube recording link, so you will have it there.
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Yes. So to the question that's in the chat, we don't have the link now. Once the link will be shareable, we will definitely add it to the recording. You can actually view the same recording if you go to the registration page on the Reactor website where you registered. You will be able to access it, and it should be also public on YouTube, probably in the next hours or by tomorrow. Okay, I see another one comment about the previous questions he understands. And then, so the questions the HR person asked, the chatbot is used twice, once for semantic search, then for ChatGPT, transform the search results to an answer.
Yes. So this let me describe the flow again. It's yeah, internally it's happening like that. You first you take the question and send to search, and search, cognitive search return the document. You have top of most relevant, because every document return by search has kind of ranking score, and so you can top 5, let's say. And those documents you use in order to construct a prompt for ChatGPT. Okay, and so you send the text, and you tell to GPT that this is the context, this is the scope, and your answer only within this specific scope. Okay. And if you don't know, you say I don't know, and you put this, and you put the question, and this is something that's going to GPT, and yeah, help because I told this before, I said it before, that the model GPT, any version of model, it's trained on public data, and so it's not familiar. It's not familiar with your internal documents data. So the way to get him to get it to be familiar with this, it's to incorporate this those relevant text within a prompt, and send, of course, and instruct them. This is the text you have to look at, and send to GPT. This way, chat is able to answer a question which related to the data which wasn't part of its training.
Okay. And then one more question. Most companies are concerned with using GPT because to get most of it, if you have to send it intellectual property or PII information. How will you address this?
So the point is that it's important to emphasize that this information is not the private information. Those texts, they are not going to be part of a model. Okay, we don't move it somehow to the model. The data is this data lives in the session of your application, and up to you, where you keep it and how you keep it. We send it. It's correct that we send this data to API, to open API, but we don't move it to model, as I mentioned before. We don't use it for training, and what so I don't see here any problem. Also, as I mentioned before, I recommend don't send just don't send API data. If you have some personal data, you can use tools like libraries like Presidio to anonymize it, because if you replace it will not affect the algorithm accuracy in any way. Yes. So be careful in any case.
And then if we discuss with the customers and suggest this option, is this method following GDPR rule?
I'm not sure. What do you mean GDPR? It's which part of GDPR? Right to be forgotten, or can you give me example?
Maybe elaborate, and then Gal, we can we can.
Because again, we don't we don't pass this data to the model in any form, and we don't use it for the training. So it's not part of our data model. Okay, so GDPR works when when some company has data and has personal data of their customers, and the customer asks, please delete my records. Okay, but this is not the case for LLM models, because LLM models they were trained on the public data. It's not any kind of, there is no any kind of PI data. So I think it's not exactly the use case for GDPR.
This person just said that they're talking about mainly privacy.
Okay. Regarding privacy, is the ethical manifesto of Microsoft regarding OpenAI is that the data that you're using in your deployment of OpenAI is not going to be stored in the model to use it for training, and it's not going to be shared between deployments that are deployed by different customers.
Okay. Well, I think we are, yeah, we reply to the questions, and we're almost at time for closing the session for today. See if Adi is still with us. Vladi, Denise, do you have anything else to add from your end?
No, just that we are, this is just the beginning, and what Vladi mentioned before is that there are many ways of integrating both cognitive services and OpenAI with many Microsoft services. And our goal as a solution architects is to create this library that will be exposing public examples on how to use this. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Vladi and Denise. And regarding the question that you had on the chat about privacy, GDPR, please check out our upcoming session, because we're going to discuss about data governance. And we also have some other sessions at the reactors, not as part of this series that discuss those topics. So today we cover just to get a taste of some case studies and demos, and to understand how you can implement Azure OpenAI in your application, in your startups, in your accounts. We hope that you got excited as us to start and kick off this series. And also, I would like to have all of you warmly wishing Moria happy birthday for her birthday today, and to celebrate. And we really wish you a warm birthday. So thank you everyone for joining from so many countries for these kickoff sessions. Please feel free to ask more questions on chat. We might and we will address them on the upcoming sessions. And we wish you a great day for those of you where it's a morning, and a great afternoon or night, or a great day. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.